Here I am. Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah and that Muhammad is his servant and messenger. I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad, host and producer of Liberated Sisters. Welcome to our special edition right here. We're going to be interviewing Dr. Sajdah Wendy Muhammad. She is a historic urban preservationist. Our guest, actually our co-host, and I call him co-producer. Brother Sultan Muhammad is going to be joining us, our big brother Sultan, for this Q&A, and we invite you to join us as well. You don't want to miss this. Um, I'm really excited about this Q&A with Sister Dr. Sajda about what is happening with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House Museum, a living house museum. But before we get into that, I want to tell you a little bit about Sister Sajda's background, and to further introduce her and present her. After that will be Brother Sultan, and then we'll bring on our beautiful sister. So please spread the word that Liberated Sisters is on with Sister Sajda Muhammad. And first, thank you so much to Student Minister James Muhammad, Sister Starla Muhammad, and Student Minister Chad Muhammad of the Mother Show Closing the Gap broadcast, so that we could be here to join and to present this information. Sajdah Wendy Muhammad is an effective business leader, entrepreneur, and global thought leader with exemplary management, organizational, and strategic thinking skills. Our sister has a proven track record of accomplishments in initiating, get this, managing change. She has handled every aspect of business, from project management, from process improvements, crisis management, contract negotiations is major, right? Financial reporting. I just get a headache thinking about financial reporting. She is an expert in this. She has auditing and internal control analysis with a demonstrated ability to implement decisions and achieve corporate goals. How many are just trying to get the one goal? What are we going to work out today or not? I'm talking about this sister is on high level, okay? Sister Wendy, Sajda Wendy, began her formal career with Price Waterhouse Coopers and worked as an independent business consultant and project leader. She has trained thousands of entrepreneurs and emerging leaders. She's managed and developed over 200 million in projects and businesses. Now, when we talk about the project today that she is overseeing, just her acquisition of it, I still sit and wonder. So, Brother Sultan is going to take us further into presentation of our beautiful sister. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Sultan.
Wa alaikum salam. And I'd like to open also in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I bear witness there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Fraud Muhammad, who came to raise us from nothing to something. The second time it's been done in the universe, but it was done the first time with the God's creation of himself, making himself from nothing. And here we are today, after 500 years of our experience under a certain enemy, or the most certain enemy of God. We too have now gone to death, and someone has been sent, and he came to raise us up from that death to resurrection. I'd like to thank you in the names of the Master Fard Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and of course, that wonderful, wonderful, wonderful example that they both have put in front of us to let us know that we too can grow into greater godhood. We too can grow to become the best of civilization. I'd like to greet you in all those names in the greeting words of peace, and we sure need some, and paradise.
Yes, we
Assalamu alaikum.
do. Wa alaikum salam. Beautiful opening. Continue, Brother Sultan. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, when I think of Sister Wendy, uh, there is a history that really I would like to hear her talk a little more about,
Mhm.
because our sister has been a certainly a soldier, an economic soldier, a spiritual soldier,
Mm-hmm.
every kind of soldier that you really need in a time like this, which is a time of war.
Mm.
And I think that when we would put ourselves in a position to sit before knowledge, wherever it comes from, we should. And whomever it comes from, because we learn from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when you're looking at the black man, you're looking at God.
That's right.
Then we had to grow a little bit. And then his messenger takes us a little bit further, and he said it's only a matter of a degree or so. So it's only a matter of a degree. When you're looking at the black woman, you're looking at God. And of course, the scripture backs it all by saying, I have told you, ye are God's children of which one? The Most High God. So for those who may or may not be English scholars, the Most High indicates that we're not talking about, of course, but a sultan or Sister Sajdah, of course, a Sister Charlene, and all those who are watching. We know what our place is, and we should learn our place, but our place is no less than striving to be the God of the creation from which we came. So, I'd like to greet you in Arabic words of peace, our language, the oldest language on the planet that's been here for tens and tens and thousands and thousands of years. No, it does not belong to anyone else other than the original black man and woman of the earth. That is our language. Everyone speaking that language is speaking your language. Maybe you should challenge them on that one at one point or another and ask them, who did you learn the language from? I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. Now, our sister, I would really like for her to tell us a little bit more about how she came up to today in business, in her acumen with respect to business. And the reason why I say that is because when I saw Sister Sajdah again and learned of her projects, and some of her projects, I certainly don't know them all, but some of her projects, I was astounded. Astounded at what? Astounded because I didn't think she could do it. No, 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 no. I was astounded at how much she had accomplished since I had seen her before. And so this kind of accomplishment helps us in our proper respect for each other, in our proper handling of each other. And then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, if I'm looking at her, you, and I see God, then I have to ask, what is it that this God has in him or in her that will make us successful
Mm.
in our godhood
Yeah.
and in our moving towards what we are building here on earth, the kingdom of God? And it
Right.
comes in the prayer, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Where? On
Right.
earth. So we all have to kind of get that together to see what that actually means if we're going to do it here on earth. And we would like for you to know that we have begun to do the kind of work to bring kingdom of God both in myself and yourself and the planet Earth. That's what we're going to do. So Sister Sajdah is going to help us to get there.
There she is. Assalamu alaikum.
Well, alaikum salam. Let me also begin formally then. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, who came to us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. I'm so grateful to be a student
Mm-hmm.
of, of this great man and God himself. And I'm grateful for his presence. And I'm grateful for the presence and the obedience of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his choosing him as the first begotten of the dead. And I'm grateful for the prayers and for them answering the prayers and granting to them a helper in the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I'm grateful for the three of them and their actual presence in our lives, in my own personal life, in our affairs, and their great protection. But not only their great protection, but their guidance as they guide us through life and help us to navigate. And Brother Sultan mentioned, and I can't, I would be remiss if I said that all of the things, Brother Sultan, that Allah has blessed me to allow him to make his presence known through me, I can't take any credit for it, because there were and have been so many places and so many things and so many places that I've been that I can't say I prayed for or I created, because I didn't even know they existed.
That's right.
Right. And so, you know, when he chooses us and taps us and puts that little bit of himself in us and ignites that fire in us and gets us to just keep going and keep going, we have to be really, really, well, let me say this. I'll speak for myself. I am very careful about making sure that I am focused on what he put me on this planet to do and what he keeps me here for, if that makes sense.
Yes,
Woke up this morning because I know you got something for me to do. I survived this or that. It's because I know you wanted to survive. You wanted me to survive. And all I ask is to just be his conduit. And that's been my primary prayer since I accepted the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in 1990.
well, to accomplish, it means that there's always a great deal of opposition. And one of the things I'm always grateful for is what I did not see that Allah blessed me to get through.
Tell
What
me
I
about it.
did not see that may have been a threat to my life. And when we look at the believers around the world and see how well protected we are, I'm always grateful, grateful, grateful for myself and for all of us. But I know that to accomplish what you have, there was a great deal of opposition. And I was thinking about how the minister said he thanked Allah for everything in his life. For everything in his life is what made him into what he is today.
Right.
And I was thinking about that with you
Mm.
and how and what it has made you into. What do you see? And it's nothing, you have to get into anything in particular, but an idea or principle. What did you find to be your chief obstacle?
My chief obstacle, Brother Sultan, probably is and has been also one of my greatest gifts. So I had to learn how to deal with my sensitivities,
Yes.
how I see things in a very granular level, dealing with emotional overload and just sometimes just feeling so much of everything and everybody and just learning how to deal with that. And for many, many years, I tried to shut myself off from one of my greatest gifts. And I tried to shut myself off or power down. You hear it in the metaphysical world, power down your powers, power it down so that I could be normal. And
Hmm.
in doing that, you asked me. And in doing that, I created a lot of pain for myself because it's like being Superman and just deciding you're not going to put the cape on no more. You're not going to go in the phone booth. You just going to put your little glasses on and go to work every day. And, when I started to learn to accept who I am that in many ways I may be different from other people. I started to accept how I see things, how things affected me, learning how to, manage myself. I'll give you an example. Our beloved Joshua Farrakhan returned to Allah last week, and everybody went to the burial site. Well, I know I can't do burial sites, so I went home and changed clothes and showed back up at the repast. Why? Because I already know what happens to me sensitivity wise when I go to burial sites. I've been through it. I did it before. So my point being is that just being bold enough to be me. And that has really been helpful for me to just say, you know what, because without that, I start the slow death. Obviously we're all going to die, but I feel it when I say, look, I got to be me and I got to figure out who I am. And Allah never leaves me. He's always there. So how do I deal with what he put me on the planet for? How do I make his presence known? Because he wants to be made known. How do I do that through me and through my accomplishments? And most importantly, how do I, Allah, become your conduit? What do I need to do to this vessel? And what conditions do I need to maintain so that you can come through and feel comfortable dwelling here and I can make your presence known? That is my main mission.
What I hear in that is,
Wow.
and it helps me not to be envious of you.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to give the same concentration to myself, to learn what the God has made me to be. And it's such a powerful statement because our problem with other people's success is that I don't see myself. When I can see myself and appreciate myself, respect myself, learn what my purpose is, it makes me so happy to see another purpose in front of me.
Yes.
It makes us so appreciative of each other. Now we are looking and searching to find out how our connection can make us successful. So the minister, in the way that he sees us, and we're going to get right to the purpose of what we're talking about, and I think this is also wrapped up in that purpose. But the minister talks to us about envy and jealousy. I can talk about it. It's not my show. I'm talking to you. And in that envy and jealousy comes a lack of respect for self, a lack of love for self, because we would not then find the time for me to look at your assets if I looked at my assets. But the more I look at your assets, I'm going to see my defects, because our purpose is not the same. But like the snow, if we gather together, we can make them happy or we can make them sad, both pleasure and destruction. So I just heard a lot in what you said.
Yes. Yes.
And I know that we want to get on to what the purpose of this particular podcast is, which is a great endeavor in itself.
Yes.
But on that line, now we're talking about, if it's okay, Sister Charlene.
Yes.
I want to ask this question. How did you come to the mind of wanting to do what you have almost finished and we just need to get that boost to get it done?
Just boost it up.
That is such a huge project. And I got to say, I went over there. I filmed the inside, all that, once before, and wanted to see what could be done. Guess what, y'all? I quit.
Not
So,
you. Not you, Brother Sultan.
oh man, well, not exactly, quit,
Right.
but I was
I'm
so
struggling.
happy
Mm.
when I saw the kind of effort that was put forth. So, how did you go into what you did and why? Well,
Mm.
why first?
Yeah, your first question was, how did I come to the mind? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Um, and I don't believe that I personally came to the mind. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said to me that Allah had been preparing me for this since before I was born. And when he said that, something in that just kind of hit me, right? Like, whoa, that's probably true. And I think the mind was being developed within me through the various different endeavors that he had been taking me on, through the experiences that I didn't plan. When I came into the Nation of Islam, I literally was on my way to France to study international finance. And I had gotten accepted into this program. And I met someone who said that Minister Farrakhan was speaking that Thursday. And I thought, oh, okay. And I remember some other sisters, we were invited out by Sister Lisa R. Muhammad. And, we were young, new college graduates. And so Thursday nights, we normally go to the club. We were going to First Fridays. And I was in Indianapolis because my first job right out of college, as Sister Charlene read with Price Waterhouse, they were supposed to place me in Chicago, but they said that I had to go to Indianapolis. And I remember being mad about it. But when I think about it now, had I not gone to Indianapolis, I may not have even come into the nation. But so fast forward, I heard the minister was invited out. The rest of the sisters didn't come. And our agreement on the phone was, you all go ahead and go to First Fridays and get us a table. And I'll go and just to make our word bond to this Sister Lisa who invited us. I didn't want to just not show up because I remember looking at the ticket and it said $35. And back then that was an expensive ticket. And Brother Sultan, when I got there, she introduced me to Brother Wazir. May Allah be pleased with him. And to Brother Kamal Muhammad. And Brother Wazir just took the reins and made sure that I literally moved to Chicago. I didn't even have my ex. He was like, when can you come? When can you come? And I'm so grateful for that whole process. Because again, remember, I'm thinking I'm about to go to France to study international finance. And then I start coming to study group. And Wazir was on me. He was just calling and saying, make sure, no, the minister needs people like you. Sister, you got work to do and, blah, blah, blah. And because he was pressing the issue, like hurry up and get to Chicago, Brother Yusuf Muhammad and his wife, Sister Virginia Muhammad in Indianapolis, Brother Yusuf, may Allah be pleased with him, they kind of fast tracked me and I was studying 24 hours a day.
Wow.
And something told me to let go of the trip to France. Maybe I could do it later. And everything was accelerated. When I came to that first Savior's Day in Detroit, that was 1990, I think. I didn't even have a uniform, but I had memorized all my general orders. And I remember Sister Captain Betsy Jean was handing out post assignments. And I had been praying for a week to be able to hold posts. That's all I wanted, was to be able to hold post. And
Wow.
when they said that our uniforms was not coming from Chicago, I cried like a baby, because I felt like I didn't have a uniform. I'm not going to be able to hold post. So I found this white outfit that I put on, and when we got to Detroit, they separated the sisters and registered MGT and new sisters. I think that's what they called it. I was registered, but I had just got registered. So I didn't, but I didn't like general orders. So Sister Captain Betsy Jean, I just remember being fascinated by her womanhood and her vibe and I'd never seen anybody that statuesque and that beautiful and that powerful. And I was just looking at her like, that woman is a god. Like, to me, she was like the Queen of Sheba. I couldn't believe it.
That's right.
And for some reason, me being the goofy person that I sometimes still am, when she walked past me, I just started blurting out my general orders.
She has that effect.
And she said, she asked me, did I have my ex? I said, yes. She asked me what mosque I was from, and I told her. And she said, fall in, sister. And she pointed to the sisters that was going to post. I think I was up on the 3rd floor. I stood post the whole day. I did not care. We ran through. I did not care as long as I got the whole post. And Allah granted that. And then from that point on, it just accelerated. And Brother Kamal and Brother Wazir moved me to Chicago. And was blessed to meet the minister. Wazir was teaching me night and day, all the time. And the minister, I was blessed because the minister accepted me into his fold and into his family. And I became very close friends with Mother Tinetta and her family. And Minister Ishmael is like my brother for real. And the Holiday and Sister Fatima and all, we were all, sisters and in the vanguard together. And then I was working closely with his office team and Brother Kamal's staff and Savior's Day staff. And, back then we just kind of did everything. It was no real segregation of duties. You just helped wherever you could. And, I was just blessed for that acceleration. And from that point, it's like I just was exposed to a number of different things. And when I went back out into the world, if you will, to become to practice business as a business consultant, it's like Allah just scooped me up. The first project I got was a water pipeline project. It was a $160 million project where we were taking water from Lake Michigan out to the western suburbs, because out there you used to have well water at that time. I got that project. And then I had a project with Reverend Dr. Lewis Rawls, helping him with HUD audits. I had no idea that Savior's Days and all that had been held at his church, or that he lived next door to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to this house. This house I would end up buying. I had no idea, but all of these projects just started coming. I was in Louisiana for a highway project. And when I wrote them down, all the things in helping to build a nation, Allah was popping me through. I was in Africa with a company that built cities. I built a hospital. So these are all things that, hotels, these are just all things that I couldn't have even designed.
Wow.
And I would be remiss if I tried to take any level of credit for it. It ain't got nothing to do with no degree. This is all the anointing of Allah, who came to us in the person of Master Father Muhammad, his messenger, exalted Christ, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and their greatest helper, that man, being under and around him and understanding how to interact with his words spiritually, and allowing him, as the Jesus that he is, to snatch the demons up out of me and help me get on the right path. And so I carried him everywhere I went. I still carry him. I got him right now.
Come on. Come on.
And I would just go to that feeling. What did it feel like? He didn't discriminate. I was, you know, my real partner in working all this was Sister Aletha. Aletha was at the palace, and I was at the National Center, and we handled the finances. Let me tell you something. The minister never discriminated because we were sisters. He never discriminated because we were young.
Come on, bear witness. That's right.
Never any of that. And now that we're all grown, everybody seems like they the same age. But back then, these brothers were big grown men. But the minister wasn't playing with us. We all had an assignment. We had work to do, and we just soldiered. We were just so happy to soldier. I was so happy to sit in the car with Mother Tinetta.
That's right.
And to have her talking and to ask me, sister, are you picking me up? Yes, ma'am. I didn't ask her to be her friend.
That was her too.
I didn't ask that. And I'll tell you one more story. I did not ask for these things. This is just Allah. And I know a lot of people say, well, we want to hear something tangible. This is about as tangible as it's going to get. It's Allah intervening in our affairs. But one day, Mother Tinetta was at the palace, and she came downstairs, and Sister Aletha and Sister Sophia asked her, did she need one of the brothers to drop her off at MUI? Because she had I think she was speaking or teaching at MUI. And of course, by me working right next door at National Center in the basement, but I didn't know she was here. I didn't know she was coming. And she told Sister Aletha, she said, oh, no, Sister Wendy's going to pick me up. And Aletha called me like, girl, you know, you supposed to be picking up Mother Tinetta. Well, I thought it was like a Vanguard post assignment that nobody told me about. I said, I didn't know. I said, oh my God, I forgot how raggedy my little car was. I had a $400 car I had bought from Sister Fatima, but I went and Mother Tinetta got in that car, and we became very close. And I didn't put that together. And she was open about teaching. And I think the most beautiful thing that I'm so grateful for whenever I think of her and mention and honor her in my prayers is that she just let me roll with her. That's it. She just let me roll with her to the grocery store, to Kmart, to hairdresser. And I just got a chance to be in that energy and that spirit and that vibe. But none of this is so many stories. There's none of
you said, you really, you know, you said a great deal. And I got all these questions keep popping up in my head. So I have to stop. So
I'm sorry. That's That's 100% truth.
Love
but
it.
You said something that was so, you said it's just many things that was very significant. But one, you reminded me of God being in the womb with us. And that's for all of us. He was in the womb with us.
Yeah.
He put our parents together. I don't care what the circumstances were. Just as he put the parents of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan together, the parents of the messenger, the parents of the Messiah. I'm talking about the same men right now. All of what we went through, he was there. And this is in all of our lives. And I'm saying it and wanted you to say it, and you did. Because it's so important for us to know that the God knows and loves us individually and collectively. And you said, and listen at this, when you saw Sister Catherine Bester Jean, you know, Sister Catherine Bester Jean, he makes men come to attention. And the beauty of what you said was, you just wanted to stand post.
That's all I wanted.
Listen at that. You met with and saw and was spoken to by the captain. You didn't say that's what you wanted to be. You saw other people in other responsible positions and situations. But all you want to do was what?
Stand post.
Just stand post.
Mhm.
This is what happens from standing post. So from this point on, I'm going to stand post.
Brother Sultan, I tell you, when I was away traveling, I would say probably about a good 7 years, I was praying to Allah. I just want to go home and hold post. I promise you. I didn't know what that looked like, but I just wanted to. So I'd go to Savior's Day and I'd go to Day of Atonement and I just would, keep coming out. And okay, no post coming yet. I don't know what's going to happen. Where's my post, Allah? I'm tired of being around here, around these people and doing all this. Where's my post? And I didn't even put two and two together that the purchase of the house was going to be my post.
Now you see,
I didn't know.
because you were willing to stand post in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Just wanted to stand post.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty of a Muslim. Duty. Just seeking and looking for duty.
Mm-hmm.
I too wanted to stand post.
Yep.
I really did. And I never thought that I would ever, well, even for a minute now, I did think I was standing post on the minister. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
we are facilitators.
Yeah.
We know who his protection is. His protection is the same with our protection.
That's right.
Almighty God Allah himself. But you get a little confused for a minute, in the moment, you get caught up. And the beauty of what I see in what you're saying, because I think, my dear sister, that as I've heard you help a lot of people.
Yes.
Just with the simple truth and the simple stories of conflict, opportunity, and really just a humility of wanting to just stand post.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, that was such a
Mm.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful testament. Because if we are not able to help each other in these podcasts, if we're not able to inspire each other,
Right.
and I do think that there's some of the things I've heard you say the several times that I've seen you here or there, or met with you or talked to you, or stood in front of here or there and talked. It's always very humble. Very humble. Could go another way, but always very humble. So
Thanks be to Allah.
I'm hoping that we, as I'm doing now, seeing the value of humility and just the value of simply wanting to work. And if you want to work as you wanted to do, what would the God do? He'll take us through the paths. And sometimes we may think that we're not on the path.
Right.
That's right.
But we are with a God that, what? The Lord of the worlds.
So
He
massive.
knows all of what's going on. I have my idea of what's happening in the whole shot, my look at it. But when I have to consider the world, at some point I have to admit that I really don't know a lot. That's why we need guidance.
Right.
So let's talk about some of this guidance that you have received in this job, this post that you have taken, and what you've been able to do. I mean, it's astounding, to me, because I look at it every day, I can look at it almost every day, I'll say.
Yeah.
And I know what it looked like on the inside, what it looked like on the outside. And I know what the value of it is to us and to the nation. Now, we're not just talking about those who accepted Sunday going back, but we are talking about tomorrow and next week and the next few decades of what we were involved in. So, what did you think when you first walked in and walked through?
Thank you, Brother Sultan.
Um, well, the first time I went to the house, I came into Chicago, and my brother was with me, and he put the key in the door. Well, I put the key in the door, and he pushed me out the way, and he said, "Wait, wait." And he opened the door and peeked in, and he said, "Walter." And I said, "Boy, who are you calling?" He said, "Oh, that's the raccoons. I'm just letting them know we here." So that was the first encounter. And I was like, what in the world? So I went in, and it was a mess. But in my opinion, it was a beautiful mess. And all I could see and feel and think about was the fact that I'm literally standing on the floor that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad stood on. And I started to be really overwhelmed by his presence. Like literally, like it, as I made that statement, just coming up through my body. And I just remember feeling his presence just all up in here. It just was flowing. I could just feel him. And as I'm walking through, I remember touching one of the pillars, and I said, I'm touching something that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad touched. And I still get that overwhelming feeling every time I'm there. But that first time feeling that it was just extremely powerful. I was afraid, though, to put his name on the house because it was in such bad shape. I wasn't sure that we'd be able to get it back. You know, between the raccoons that were living there was what we thought was dirt on the floor, which really was raccoon feces dried. And, that took, we had to go through that process of fumigating and getting all of that stuff out of there. A lot of the walls were not closed, they were open, kind of rotted on the inside. Um, it didn't smell good. Um, it was bad, but I didn't care. I just didn't care. And I just said, this is what I know I have to do. And I just said, if I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I don't know. But this right now just has to be what I need to do and what I need to work on. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in his wise wisdom, said to me, don't worry about where your help is going to come from. And that's kind of how it, among many ways, that's kind of how it started. That's that feeling I got when I first walked in.
Wow, Sister Sajdah, as we bring Brother Sultan in, thank you for that. That was funny when you said your brother called out for Walter. And you all can see the image of the home right here in the top left, I think, corner there on your screen. Um, how did it come to you? When did you decide to purchase this? How did you even know that it was available?
So in May of that year, another one of our beloved brothers returned to Allah, was Brother Lewis Jr.
Yeah.
I came to town for Brother Lewis Jr.'s janaza, and some of the family members said, "Oh, the messenger's home, our family home, is available." And I was like, "Oh, okay, praise be to Allah, that's good." I was happy. I said, that's amazing, that's awesome. I think you all should really go all out. You should deck it out. And I just left it at that. And I saw the house. Of course, I had seen it for years. I sold real estate in Chicago for years. So I'd seen the house sitting there, and I knew what it was and where it was, but I really didn't think that it had anything to do with me. I wasn't really comfortable with really helping with the project. And so I just went back to Maryland and just went on about my business. That was maybe like May or June. And then one day in October, I came into the office, and many of you have heard this story, so I won't repeat the whole thing, but I turned on my computer And I had a pop-up alert in the bottom right corner from foreclosure.com. And when you sign up for these sites like auction.com, foreclosure.com, they give you alerts. You put in like zip codes that you're interested in hearing about homes that are for sale. And I put in Chicago, I think I had New Orleans and just different places. And it said 4847 South Woodlawn Avenue. And I remember just leaning down into the computer going, and I said, I'll be. And I was just, it was almost like I was stunned.
Mm.
And I ended up calling different people and they said, no, we got it. It's good. We're good. And something just said, just, you got to keep pursuing, dig into it. So we dug into it and found out that it was, they wanted, the words of the bank that had it on foreclosure was, we don't want to talk to anybody else, Muhammad, about this house, and we want it off of our books. This is what they told us, my brother and I. And I was scared to call, so I asked my brother to call. That's how nervous I was. And they told him that. And then when he got me on the three-way, they said it again. We don't want to talk to nobody else, Muhammad. And we want this off of our books. So you guys will have 9 days. And my brother got upset and he said, well, this Muhammad is serious. I don't know who you think he
right. What do they mean?
And I said, and I had to be in Africa. Here I go again. I was trying to move to Africa. I was going to move there and develop a hospital. And Allah was like, nope, this is third time you thought you was leaving, but you're not going. And so 9 days, we had to make it happen. I tried to I offered them $50,000 to just hold it until I could figure out what was going on. They said no. They said, you got to pay for it. There's no time to get a mortgage. And so I went to my business partner and I said, I got to liquidate some of my position because I have to get this house. And he was excited because he was really, really pushing me. He was acting so crazy that day. He was just like, okay, all right, y'all gonna be driving down the street going, that's what he ought to be like to Muhammad used to live. I was like, would you please stop? Because I'm like, this is our nation business. You don't know, you don't understand, just be quiet. But
I love him. Whoever he is, I love that brother.
He did not let up. You'll meet him one day. He did not let up. He was just talking smack to me all day long. So I left the office early because I got tired of him talking. I was like, I'm leaving. I just got my bags and stuff and went down the back stairs. I was like, I'm leaving. I don't feel like listening to this all day, but I couldn't let it go. And I didn't have time to really if I wanted to save it, I didn't have time to do anything but save it.
That's right.
And then I started dealing with it as a believer. Because when my business partner said to me, you always talking about Muhammad this and Farrakhan that, I can't believe you're not going to get it.
Come on.
Come on.
That's what he said to me. He said, you always around here. He went into his around here talking about Muhammad Farrakhan. And I was just like,
wow.
And I said, now as a believer, he's right. Do I just shut the computer off and pretend I didn't see it?
See it? Wow. Come on.
Do I walk away knowing that I can get it and just say, I ain't trying to get into nothing. I know I thought the family was trying to get it. I ain't trying. Do I do that? Or do I step up and do what I can do? And so that, as a believer, that was the position I was put in. Allah put my back against the wall.
That was him talking to you through your
him talking to me through my business partner. He came just out the blue. He said, you always around here talking. And he's talking Muhammad and Farrakhan.
Yeah. Shocked you, didn't he?
He said, the minister said this and the messenger said that. And then you ain't going to get the house. He said, all right, then.
I can see it now.
And just walked out my office.
Wow. Challenge. I think this is a good time to play the commercial that you shared. What do you, if you all, I think this is a great time to play it. You all were taking your questions for Sister Sajdah Wendy Muhammad on Liberated Sisters. Let's enjoyed this. Here we go. Okay, wait. Promises, promises. Okay, I need to share the screen a different way. So continue on because it's only an image. Go ahead, Brother Sultan. I'll be back.
Yeah, so that was the beginning of it. And then I gave, then my brother had to come to Chicago because I was headed to Africa.
Mhm.
They closed on the house while I was in Africa. I was in a meeting and my brother called and he said, "Sister," he said, "you got it." He said,
You
"I don't
got
know
it.
what you're going to do with this big old thing." Because he looking at me like, okay, my sister must really be crazy. Because he didn't know, he don't, he, and I said, well, okay. And I was in the meeting. It had a really great effect on the people that I was in the meeting at. And, just came back and got to work. Needless to say, I didn't move to Africa.
And
So
you know,
that made the third time, Brother
yeah,
Sultan, that I tried to move out of the country. And Allah
that's right.
literally stopped me. And this time I said, I'm done. I said, I'm here. But that first time, right before I met Brother Wazir, I got accepted in the program and I was supposed to be starting classes and preparation that Monday. This was on a Thursday to
Mhm.
move to France. The second time in around the year 2000, I had gotten a project in Johannesburg and I was going to go and move to Johannesburg and do, and I told one of my good friends and I told her, I said, "Oh girl, I'm thinking about, I'm going to Johannesburg. You got to come over so we can hang out." She said, "No, you can't go." And to this day, I tell her, I said, she begged me. She
Mm.
begged me. She said, "Please just wait, just wait." And then right then I ended up getting a project in DC under the Obama administration. So it's kind of like project of a lifetime type of thing. And then I said, okay, I'm still going. And I thought I was going that October, November before the house uh whole thing happened. And now I'm like, all right, I ain't going. I'm here. All right, Allah. And then it clicked to me, Brother Sultan. Oh, you have been praying for a post.
Mhm.
You gotta be careful what you pray for.
That's real talk. Well, we
That's
have
right.
the video. We have the video ready. So, inshallah, let's do that and then we'll continue the dialogue. Let's see how this pans.
Uh-oh.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who in my judgment is the master historian, taught us that of all our studies, history is the most attractive, and it is best qualified to reward the researcher. History is most attractive. Why should history be most attractive? Because history is the recorded time of the human family in its struggle to overcome obstacles. There is no life that is without struggle. The Holy Quran teaches us that man, meaning man and woman, is made to face difficulties. And after difficulty comes ease. But it is history that guides us through difficulty. For if you know how people who had difficulty yesterday got through, and if your difficulty is somewhat similar, then today we also can get through if we follow the guidance of history. This is why Carter G. Woodson and many of our black giants fought for black people to know our history. Because in not knowing our history, we don't have a guide. and without a guide, we are lost. No wonder
It's something about watching the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and hearing the minister's voice that it's so emotional for me. And I think it's because I think about how much he loves the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I've prayed for my entire adult Muslim life that he will, see his father. And he had that one more thing to do. And, but I don't know. I think it's just the marriage of the images with his voice just helps me to to have a little bit of the taste of their meeting, if that makes sense. It's like I can kind of taste it a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, it was well put together. Thank you. I got a little full, Sister Sajdah. I want to take the opportunity to thank you again, as I have several times before, for accepting your mission and for accepting the accelerated track. Like, you were commandeered from heading to France, and now look where we are. This is something that you and your loved ones stepped out on, but you didn't ignore that pop up. Many would have closed it, many would have taken the flight, and you didn't. And because of that, we have the opportunity to be able to, even to what we've seen so far, as Brother Sultan said, experience this living museum, because he is alive and he is here. So go on and continue. I just wanted to share that and say thank you. And to remind our viewing audience, we're taking your questions and statements for her, and we're here on a mission. We want us to purchase the coins so that we can help just do a little lifting. And I'm going to go and mute. My granddaughter's having something going on. So, Brother Sultan, go ahead. You all take it away.
Well, I thank both of you all for, for your support and just for recognizing your little sister on this journey and who's walking up the hill with a heavy load. I'm grateful because oftentimes when you take on large projects like this, it's very lonely. And it's lonely because a lot of people don't have the stamina to hang with you. So as the facilitator of the project, you have to string together the involvement of people to make it like one contiguous experience. And so
Yeah.
I'm grateful for everybody who comes and hangs for whatever amount of period that they have been able to hang. And because usually when you have a vision, you speak something into an existence and you have an assignment, a lot of people don't have your assignment.
Right.
A lot of people can't see it. They think you're crazy. They run out of oxygen. And so I'm just, I try to be grateful for and thank everybody who has been supportive of me, because it's a big mission. It's a long journey. It's heavy lifting, and it creates a trial for a lot of people.
Sister Sasha, here's a question from Brother Daniel. He wants to know, thank you for what you shared, sister. What was the words of encouragement from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to get the original National House? And then after that, I want you to tell us, what do you need and what do we need to complete the project? Because it's a call to action, everybody. We want to.
Yes, right.
So I told him after I got it. So after I didn't have enough time. I don't know if you guys realize that 9 days is not a lot of time.
Yes, ma'am.
Talking about acquiring property, you either got to just go and buy it. You don't have no time to play around.
9 days.
Mm-hmm.
You can get rent money in 9 days.
So I told him after I had gotten it, I wrote a letter, and then I was blessed to speak with him face to face. But if you ask what words of encouragement, I don't think it's one word of encouragement, because we know that history is written in advance and we just walk into it. It's his love. I'm following him through the volume of the book as he follows the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who follows Master Farad Muhammad. I'm following them through the volume of the book, but I have my eyes on the door, who is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he creates that door through his love. And so I just put my blinders on and follow him.
You know, I wanted to just bring up something again that I think is very significant because we have to expand our minds, expand our thinking, and we have to always listen for the voice of God. You said, and I know it had to be a shocker, that your partner started talking about, what are you going to do? And I was thinking of the minister again, and even if it comes from a parent, and how we have to begin to give credence and give value to everything around us. That's good for security also.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of the things that as I listened to you say that, I said, I probably would have paid attention because the person who said it was a shocker. And so he said, you know, God knows where to place his message. So his message to you, I really think that came through, of course, our brother. And I think what's so important about that is that it helps us we have to listen to everybody.
We do.
And it really makes sense to listen to everybody. Again, you know, more and more lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess if we talk about how we are able to do this or how we were able to do that, then we have to talk about the success of the lessons that the God has taken us through, the courses.
Mm-hmm.
And we are still on our way to somewhere else. And I don't know if you're going to, you know, get an entire country or maybe a couple of continents or whatever, but I really appreciate for the benefit of myself and the believers to hear of God in someone's life and how he guides.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think, again, you know, it's very important for us. And I know how difficult it can be also, you know, well, I don't know because, but I've watched
Mm-hmm.
other sisters, you know, in the struggle. And then you have that extra thing, of course, we have that extra thing of the diabolical opposition to the black man.
Right.
But then there is the global disrespect of women.
Right.
And so, and the black man, of course, but that global disrespect that actually comes through, not our world, but that comes through, of course, the world of the West or the world of Satan. And so it can be a very demanding, very stressful.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of those obstacles did you meet just in dealing with it as a woman?
Well, yeah. So when this is what I believe, because I look at how the minister handled us as young women as a model for how Allah handles us, and that he didn't discriminate or make a difference because we were women. There was no difference in the weight that was placed on us. And I think that Allah oftentimes is the same way, or is the same way, and that he's mirroring Allah in that Allah, I don't think Allah was saying, okay, but you're a woman, or but you're this or that. It was just, let me place my message here and give you an instruction. And when Allah gives you an instruction and an assignment, it takes a lot of courage. And I can say this today. I don't think I could have said this 3 or 4 years ago, but it takes a lot of courage to be able to accept Allah's assignment. And you're blessed if you're blessed the way I was, where he backs you up against the wall and you kind of don't have a choice. But, you know, along the way, as a woman, you then run into others brothers and sisters, because sometimes sisters are just as sexist as brothers. You run into brothers and sisters who are not in their evolved stage of development. And so they don't have respect for you just because you're a woman. And it comes out in different ways, with people trying to take advantage, people thinking they can take over your project, people thinking they can boss you around, people manipulating and creating different conditions and circumstances that best serve them. And that's where, again, the blinders come in, and you have to just be focused on the assignment. Be focused on, how, Allah, do I make myself known? And even in that, how do I make you known through me? And even in that, Brother Sultan, when people see that you're not falling for those traps,
Right. That was
right,
the next question.
that makes Allah's presence known.
That's
Because if you fall into the trap, but you get up out of it, that still makes Allah's presence known. So yeah, as a woman, women and men are sexist and discriminate against a woman doing something, in a lot of cases, that maybe has never been done before. And so I think sometimes the bigger challenge in that, we kind of accept it and sometimes expect that it's going to come from a man. But sometimes when sexism comes from a fellow sister, it gets a little bit hard to recognize. And it's easy to give up your power to that condition of mind, because you let your guard down, because you're thinking it's another sister.
But it's a mindset.
It's a mind. It's all a mental game. It's all a mental game. This is all about mindset, and how do you move through? How do you maintain your power? How do you maintain your focus? And it takes courage to do that, because you're going to disappoint a lot of people. You're going to see people showing you attention and affection because they want to be around or a part of it. But then when maybe they don't really like how you roll, you got to watch them walk away. You got to watch them not really deal with you anymore. And those can be painful situations.
yes, ma'am.
Because, again, because as a woman, I speak for myself, as a woman, I love love. I love relationship. I love interaction. And so when people fall off, either because they're tired, either because they just don't like you no more, either because they just don't really feel like you doing what they think you should do, or whatever reason, that their place in their journey puts on their mind to cause them to react the way that they do, it can be a challenge. But again, in the midst of that disappointment, in the midst of that pain, calling on Allah, and knowing that all it takes is a wink and a nod from Him, and you can do and have and be whatever it is that you want. His universe is so big, His power is so mighty, that if He just winks and barely nods, just tilts His head in your direction,
That's right.
your life can change overnight. So we're not asking for much. You ask me what is needed.
Yes, speak on that.
It's been over a $5 million project. We were about $1 million in before we even touched the property, because there's structural engineering that has to take place. There's planning, there's permitting, there's all of those things that happen. And we got about another $500,000 to go before we complete the renovation. I've been pushing people. I said, look, buy the coins, buy one, buy two. We have about 800 or so left. So that 500,000 is what we need. And the other thing that oftentimes is a miss is that we need the push so that we can get it all right now, because If the house is sitting there, it's looking beautiful, it's looking fabulous, but it
Mhm.
costs quite a bit of money to just sit there and look like that when it's doing nothing. So we
Okay.
want to turn it into the asset and the revenue generator that we know that it can be. So that begins to pay for itself. And like I said, while I'm grateful for us selling 1 or 2 coins, that's fine. But we have all of these other expenses that have to go into maintaining the home that have to come from somewhere. So,
Mhm.
that push, whether it's a sponsorship, whether it's, buying the coins, we need to make sure that, and I'll say this part too. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said to me, he said, we're going to get the money. You're going to get it this year. And so I want to make his word on. I'm not,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, I just believe that when something comes out of his mouth, we have
Yes,
to be about the business of making his word bond. And
yes,
he's
ma'am.
done
That's
so
right.
much for us. He's already given us everything that we need to make it as a people, as a nation. Um, I've been blessed to do most of the heavy lifting. I've
That's
lifted 95%, and
woo.
so I'm coming to the public for the other 5%. Um, and um, and so yeah, that's where it is, and that will get us in a position where we can begin the development process of the real museum, because
Mhm.
the construction will be done and we don't have to worry about that anymore. We can now move into, when we've been doing a lot of planning and all of that stuff all along, but now we can move into more of the curation phase. We can move into
Mhm.
developing the IT projects, but then now we have a completed house where we can use that house in essence to generate the revenue
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Yes,
kind of
ma'am.
flip that revenue into being able to finance, the rest as we move forward.
That's right. Tell us about the coin. Tell the viewers, some who may not have tuned in before, know about the home, about the coin.
So the coin, it's a graded coin. It's a 1-ounce copper coin. It's about the size of a 50-cent piece. And it's made from, I should have brought it with me. It's made from the copper from the home. So there you go. All praises due to Allah. So when, thank you, Brother Sultan, to you and Sister Yolanda for your support and your families. Um, when we were taking materials off of the home, and I was reminded of the minister saying to me, which he's also said publicly, that one day he was walking down the driveway with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad pointed to a tree. And he said, one day when they find out who I am, they're going to rip the bark off the trees. And I thought about that. That took me from that comment to the material that we had that either we couldn't reuse or whatever. And I said, well, what do we do with it? We can't throw away the copper that has absorbed the energy of a God. So we made coins, and we recycled that copper. And we had a few of these pendants, which we sold out. We only got a few of those really just to kind of test it. The real value, honestly, is in the graded coin. The reason being is because um, you just never know what this is going to become. And if we're going to be using this as some kind of form of
Yes,
currency,
ma'am.
Hey, you
right?
know.
You just never know. I don't know. I just, when
Yes,
when I felt like the messenger said to do this, and I started
Mhm.
hearing about Goldman Sachs saying copper is the new oil, and copper is the new metal of the future, and all the electric cars that need copper, and how they're mining cobalt from the Congo and Niger and Africa and all of these places, and how copper is used in all of our electronic equipment. Copper is the future. I couldn't help but just wonder, what is this saying about our role
Mhm.
in the future of the world? I believe that we're entering now this phase of economics. And this phase of doing for self where, and especially with the strides that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is taking and all the work that he's doing in removing obstacles so that we can do for self. This is a symbol of something. We don't know yet what it is, but it's a sign of something given what the world is saying today about copper. So that's a little bit about the coin. This coin is graded. It has its own number on the back. We're going to use that number for memberships. So again, like I said, once we finish the construction, we'll be able to activate that membership. Those memberships will be able to start doing tours on a regular basis and just opening up the experience to the world.
One of the things, just to add just a little to what you were saying with respect to the copper, is that when contractors went into the house in Phoenix, and they saw that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had used copper. This is in I think the early 60s. And they said, he's so far ahead in time. So the copper and its value in construction, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad saw 30, 40, 50 years ahead.
Yeah.
And that's what they found.
That's right. I have a similar experience, Brother Sultan. We were working with some of the contractors from the city. And one of the elderly contractors, because we were working, I think it might have been the electrical grid or something, made a comment that he meant for the negative, but it sent a message. And he said, well, that Elijah Muhammad over-engineered everything. And I remember my brother saying, what you mean? What you trying to say? And I was like, no, wait. Let's let him talk. And he said, yeah, everything is always over-engineered. You got these 3-phase electric transformers. You got the type of piping and the copper. And he just started naming stuff. And I was like, wow, he's in his hating. He's bearing witness to the forward-thinking, masterful genius of our Father.
And that reminds me of something else with Stephanie Mills and her love for the minister and her love for the family. And, she has always declared herself his daughter.
That's right.
Well, now, today they say that she oversees.
Look at that.
What does that mean? She oversees. He over-engineered. Well, he just say that he was far ahead of you and that you can't keep up with her singing.
That's right. That's right. The sister can blow.
Oh, wow.
So that's the beauty of seeing God that we didn't see before. Now, Sister Charlene, I do have a question I want to ask you. I don't know. I just want to make sure I ask you before we get.
No, you can. I just want to, I just keep showing the flyer so that we can keep it in the front of our minds that we want to assist and get some coin purchases because we're just right almost there. And she did 95% of it,
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You go right ahead, Brother Sultan. I just wanted to explain why the flyer is in and out.
So I want to give myself a chance to be a part of the resurrection of this house.
Resurrection.
So I want to ask you, what now with this project, even thinking of ourselves, what does resurrection mean to you? And help us that we can see clearly that we can get this project resurrected from the dead and finished.
You know what? Resurrection is a process. It's not something that happens overnight. You're not going to just be born again overnight. It is a strategic process that takes time. It takes following a plan. Just like when you're renovating or restoring a home, there are plans, there are drawings, there's an outline. Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan have given us a plan, a resurrection strategic plan on what we can eat, how we can conduct ourselves, how we need to think, how we need to move, who we need to be in order to become resurrected individuals. Same thing happened in essence with the house. We had to create drawings. We had to assess the house. We had to clean it. We had to fumigate it from all of the raccoons and the poisonous species that was in there. That took time to fumigate it and get it out of there. Now we got this vessel that we can safely go inside and plan it out and put it together. We planned it out. We put it together. It went in writing. We made lists. We drew it out. We sought permission with the permits. It was an entire process. And so we're right at the end of that process. But even with that resurrection never really will get done, because then we'll get it done. But now we'll be able to do for self, right?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
the home will be able to do for self.
Yes, ma'am. So with that, we're all, now once it's done, you know we're all going to be talking about our house. Now you know that. You know how we do.
I know.
But this really should be something for Brother Sultan and others and everyone to make an extra effort that we can really be a part of this resurrection. Because we're all going to boast about it. We're all going to talk about it. We're all going to show it off. We're all going to talk about how when you go to Chicago, you got to go there. So we can do our little bit to make ourselves a part of it.
Yes.
Because the Lion's work and the Lion's part of it has really been done by our sister and those who have worked close with her. So this gives us an opportunity to be a part of what you know we're going to boast about and what we're going to brag about. Like I was there working on the windows myself, you know.
I got the raccoons out. These are large stories about it, but you're right, brothers.
Yeah. And so that's why I wanted us to hear what resurrection is when you are dealing with the physical resurrection of a house that the messenger of God, the Messiah of Master Fard Muhammad, put his hands on.
Yes.
And if he put his hands on the house, if he bought the house, there was always something else in the house. And you know, man, it's just a beautiful thing. You know, when you take a look, you go out to the farm. Many of us have been out to the farm, many of us have not. And when we started, it was just a lot of dirt, you know, a nice little house on all this land. Dirt. You know, it's been a field and growing and all of this. But when you go and look at it today and see what the mind of God sees and how everything that it seems to touch, you know, talking about Midas. Midas ain't got nothing on this. So that everything Midas touches turns to gold. Well, one of us made the gold. So, but when you look at the farm and what it was raised from, the love, the green, just the lawn looks perfectly cut. All of this. And then when you go and you look at the house and see the beauty of the house, it's something that really has to be done and should be done because it's one of us who is doing it.
Yeah.
So we need accomplishment. We need example of accomplishment. Your accomplishment follows what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is doing for us today. But it's a sign of we're going to build, we got a whole planet to work with.
We do. We do.
And we got to start somewhere. And the Honorable Minister Louis, how coincidental do you think it is that we get the exact same piece of property in Georgia that we owned before, prior to 75? How do you think the percentage of being able to go in and get the palace back?
Right.
The circumstances by which we were able to get it back, how everything was timed for when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was to be raised up again in the place of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to do exactly what he did, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did it when Master Fard Muhammad left. So this can't be coincidence.
No.
So maybe we better hurry up, and become a part of being some of this great growth, great process of prosperity. Because ain't nobody coming after somebody who's not doing anything. They're coming after the minister because he's doing so much.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Ain't nobody coming behind you for doing
I just want the believers to see that we can win. We are winners. And I know sometimes we get so much opposition and we spend, or we not sometimes, we do have so much opposition and we spend so much time defending ourselves and defending our leaders. But I think we have to remember that we are winners. We've already won just to be here and to still be here, and we can win. And I just want us to know that and to hold that in our hearts. Sometimes I see us as believers and we're so sad. And I just want to go up to each and every one of us and say, listen, we are winners. We're winning and we will continue to win. So that's the energy that we have to move forward with. We are going to be the winners in the end. And to be the winners in the end don't mean that we just going to wake up and be the winners. We're going to enjoy some victories along the way. So that's just been on my mind lately, whenever I see us and I'm around us and I'm like, come on, y'all, we're winners. And each and every one of us can walk in his footsteps. We're all divine.
And from what I understand, you're also helping other Black groups to preserve their legacy.
Yes, sir. So when we had the initial opposition from our former alderman, I was blessed to be one of the founding members of the Coalition of Black House Museums. And our goal is to help preserve properties that are important and significant to our underserved community. So in the coalition, we have like the Emmett Till House, we have Muddy Water House. We're working on, we have Phyllis Wheatley House, and I'm working right now to help save Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church, which is the former church of the Reverend Dr. Lewis Rawls Sr., which is the singer's father. We have that. We've been, working to support the Underground Railroad sites throughout the state. Also working to support the renovation of the Regal Theater. So just really making Chicago the hub of Black preservation. And not only that, we being the vanguards and showing people that, listen, we can do this. Let's begin to preserve properties and real estate that are important to our underserved communities.
Yes, sir. I think that with that kind of work also, we're able to get a better attention of our people to see that we are willing to help them preserve what they value. It's not that it would be of the value of anything coming from the Lord of the worlds, but the Lord of the worlds is the Lord of the worlds. And so in that, our people are able to see our concern of them.
Yes.
Because we want the world to know, not just here, but soon, we're going to be seen around the world as some very bold and beautiful people. And so we have to know more about what is going on around us. And with the responsibility that we're going to have to deal with everything.
Yes,
Everything.
a great responsibility.
Everything.
We are in the classroom of God right now. There's a major responsibility that we are going to have to make sure that we can shoulder. The bottom rail being raised to the top comes with responsibility. And starting just with this preservation work, if we're not careful, Brother Sultan, our history that occurred during this great migration from 1919 to 1975 is about to become extinct. Why? Because when we came up from the South through the encouragement of many people like Robert Abbott with the Chicago Defender writing, telling people come up north, get opportunities. As you know, we were redlined. We were placed in only able to live in certain neighborhoods and certain parts of major cities throughout the U.S. north of the Mason-Dixon line. And then we started having gentrification. We started moving. As we began to integrate, you had white flight and we followed them. Well, now many of these properties are sitting vacant, and guess what's happening? People are coming in, they're tearing them down and moving back in, and much of this history is being lost. It is about to become extinct. There's not a lot of books that talk about what has happened in our modern day Black history. There's not a lot of people that talk about it. There's not a lot of people who even know who they are. When we were having meetings, I was having meetings with the former congregation of Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church. They were just talking to me about the people that were in the choir, from Isaac Hayes and, of course, Reverend Lou Rawls and all of these people, Natalie Cole coming to the church and Jerry Butler. And I just thought, my gosh, when I sit down and talk to Sister Chandra, who is Muddy Waters' great granddaughter, and we started talking about all these great names and all these people that he helped to facilitate and bring up north. These are revolutionary people that have to be celebrated and have to be studied. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is a perfect example among many examples of someone who migrated to the north and became one of the greatest men to ever walk, or the greatest man to ever walk the earth.
Yes, ma'am. And when you begin to what they're doing now, wipe out even the history of slavery, although they will put their last leg on that one. And that's because they never talk about anything before that, when their fathers bowed to us. But if you wipe out that era of slavery and all that went through, you also wipe out our place in prophecy as the people of God, as the children of God, and as the children of Israel. So it would then appear in 20 years from today, with the way they're handling the education, it'll just be dumb Black people. We don't know why they're dumb. We don't know why they're in the condition they're in. We don't know why the Black man is in the condition he's in, because in history, well, there's no more suffering. There's no more of what the scriptures wrote, what would turn the people into that condition. And I don't know if it's true or not, but Brother Kenny had put something on a little while ago, and it talked about a certain consulate representative woman who was here in Atlanta, and she's speaking to a group of, I think it was Israelis and others, or certainly it was an audience of people. And she said something to the effect that the greatest threat to Israel was the youth in America.
I heard that. I don't know how true that is, but I did hear that.
Yeah. And so, I could see how it would be, because, say, the youth went to Jesus. At a certain point in the New Testament, we'll find Jesus turning to the youth And so if the youth are following the prophetic Jesus, they would then learn that they were the true children of Israel, the true children of God, and would prevent a problem in the future with someone who is faking and shaking, pretending to be someone that they are not. But this strong new generation, along with the stronger older generation too, are working together and will work together to bring in this new world. And they fear the fearless youth who are learning more and more every day about the truth of who they are. I think that's what that fear may be.
Wow. Speaking about the youth, it just flashed before my face. I see it. It would be great if we could have a concert, a benefit concert, one Saturday, bells, whistles, and just raise all of the rest of the money that we need for the Historic Renovation and Restoration Project. What do you think about that, Sister Saj? Said Brother Sultan. I just, wow.
So I've been approached with that.
I wish I had the money.
As a business person, I'm always thinking about, well, who's going to finance the concert, and where is it going to be?
Yeah.
And what's the venue look like, and how do we get there? It felt like, yes, it's something that we could obviously do in the future, but it just felt like it would be easier for us to put our coins together and come up. So I just kept grinding. I think at the time, somebody said that to me, we still need about another 1.5 million. And now we're down to the 500.
Wow.
My thing is, I think it'd be much easier for us to pinch our pennies together and, get it done that way, whether you buy a coin or whatever. I think that'd be easier than the concert. Although I love music and I love the concert idea, probably as something that we could certainly do in the future. But to put something like that together at this point,
I think it would take money. It would take some of what we would need to
take time.
Yeah, that's right.
Schedule the venue, and you got to put it all together.
Yeah.
So how do we do that now? What should we do?
Buy the coins. Is that what she's saying?
Yes,
sorry, just a guess.
So we buy the coin. I think you mentioned a few other things, though. What do we need to do?
Buy the sponsorships.
Okay.
Pardon me, Sister Sajdah. Go ahead.
That's okay. The coins and the sponsorships. Right now, there you can request a sponsorship document if you send an email to me. The email is sajdahhouse@gmail.com. Put sponsorship in the subject line. I'll send you a sponsorship deck. You can see the different areas of the house that you can still sponsor. Of course, you can purchase a coin. But with the sponsorship, I love the sponsorships because if you sponsor a room, then your name is on that room. If you sponsor whatever it is that you sponsor, your name of your family or company or whatever you want will be etched in stone, if you will, in that space. So this will be the so-and-so. This will be the Sultan and Yolanda room, or however, whatever you want. So we have a number of different rooms, from the sitting rooms to the exhibit rooms to the reading rooms downstairs. We have, all of these opportunities. We've got the rear garden. We got the coach house, which is the gift shop that needs sponsorship. We have the theater. We're going to have a 3D augmented reality theater on the second floor of the coach house. That there's sponsorships that are needed for that as well.
So don't send your money to Yolanda and Sultan Muhammad. Send your money where?
So you can go to, if you want to, know how to donate, all that, go to support sajdahhouse.com. What she has going across the screen, sajdahhouse.com, that's for the coins. But if you go to support sajdahhouse.com, that's going to tell you how you can donate, the different methods. It's going to tell you how to get your sponsorship package if you want to get that. And I'm on a goal. Let's get this. Today is December 7th. I want by December 31st for us to get the funds. Unfortunately, over the course of the last 3 or 4 years, we've not had a lot of momentum. Yes, support sajdahhouse.com. So that's not just for sponsorship, Sister Charlene. So you can just put support sajdahhouse.com. Take the other one off of there. Support sajdahhouse.com. And so when you go there, it's going to show you how you can donate, the different methods. And it's Sajdah, SAJDAHHOUSE. Support Sajdah, SAJDAHHOUSE. That's not it going across the bottom. I can put it in the comments here to make it easier. Let's see if I can. But it's support Sajdah House, SAJDAHHOUSE. Okay, here we go. I'll put this here.
Okay, did I spell it right? I got some college. I have some college.
Support sajdahhouse.com. Yes.
Okay, praise be to Allah.
All right. So that is that. That's how it is. Join me tonight. I'm going to be live on my podcast. We always highlight Black Muslim businesses. We're building our Black Muslim economy. I'm going to have Sister Keisha Muhammad on tonight. That's on the Sajdah Wendy Muhammad YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. And she's going to be talking today about skincare. That's for brothers too. Y'all got to take care of your skin. Your skin's going to be with you for a long time. So you want to take care of your skin. So we're going to be talking about her new skincare business and doing what we can to support and lift up her business. And so I do that every week on my podcast, support and highlight Black Muslims in business and do what we can to help push one another up and over the edge and encourage us to buy Black, but buy Black Muslim first.
Yes, ma'am. And what other areas, if one needs consultation, what are some of the areas that you also consult?
So I do a lot of business consulting and a lot of business development. I do some coaching. I have a link in my bio on social media if you want to book me, but I can do mostly anything for coaching. It's going to be money, psychology, and emotional intelligence. So I'm going to help you figure out those roadblocks that are blinding you and preventing you from moving forward. On the business development side, anything from helping you get your business started. I have one client right now. We're building her new clinic. We're working on franchising her idea. And so that process is in the making. I've had other clients to come on and we do product development. Maybe you just need the infrastructure of your business put together. So strategic planning, staffing strategies, communication strategies, your human resource strategy. It kind of ties in with just all of the infrastructure pieces. If you got regulatory stuff, how to keep you compliance with that. So the business consulting and business development that I do, I always have to say that because there's a lot of people that say they're a coach and they're a consultant, but this is what I do. I'm going to help you build your business. If it's on the coaching side, I'm going to help you with the right mindset. If it's on the business side and you have a business, if you want to scale your business, you may say right now we're making $100,000 every 6 months, but I want to turn that into $100,000 a month. Then I will sit down with you and help you figure out how to put a plan together on how you can do that. Some people say, I haven't started, but I'm ready to go. I can help you figure that out. Some people say, you know what? I'm having a lot of employee turnover. How do I attribute that? I could come in and help you read your corporate culture so we can figure out where the sticking points is and what's causing some of the turnover. Some people may say, you know what, me and so, we're going to merge our companies together. Well, we can sit down and put together a merger strategy. So any of those deep technical, deep dive business things we can do. I help a lot of doctors go from the big box hospitals into opening their own clinics, their own surgery centers, their own freestanding surgery centers. I do that a lot of work in healthcare, helping people understand their payer mix, how to get credentialed with insurance companies, how to understand what insurance companies they should and shouldn't take, patient selection process, how to design the flow in their clinic. So any of that, I do a lot of restaurant development, helping people with building restaurants. I've built a few restaurants, that kind of thing. So I've been very blessed, Brother Sultan. I've built and designed over $500 million worth of businesses throughout my career.
Yes, ma'am.
So I have a pretty strong muscle when it comes to that. And so if you want to take advantage of what I've already bought and paid for with my blood, sweat, and tears, then book a consultation with me. If you buy one, I'll give you the second follow-up one for free. Sometimes people will bring me on as being one of their advisors. And of course, if you got property you're trying to preserve, that's now part of my consulting business as well, because Allah gave me a whole new business with understanding now how to preserve these types of properties.
Wow. Well,
That's
we certainly
amazing.
should know where to go by now. That's whether we're in Los Angeles, like you, Sister Charlene, in Chicago, like me, or in New York, and all these other places, of course, where people are watching this wonderful, 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 informative show.
Wow. I know Friends is mad. Friends didn't get you.
There might be a few of them angry. That's right. That's right. That's right.
You know,
That's
but all in all honesty, support sajdahhouse.com. Support sajdahhouse.com. I did want to ask you, how has this to date, when you look back on your entire journey, who is Sajdah Wendy Muhammad today as a result of all of this?
You know, she's still evolving. She changes. She's not the same person right now at almost 6 p.m. Central Time that she was this morning at 6 a.m. Central Time. As I mentioned, I just try my best to be a believer within the context of what he's given me. So, and when I say be a believer, is to take what he's given me and to do right by it, to honor it, to love him through it, to be a conduit, to allow him to speak through me and show up through me. I do a lot in the world of business. And so I try to just, in those business endeavors, be a believer, you know, in business. And then just in my everyday life, just really trying my best to represent him to the best of my ability, and just going inside of myself and trying to improve and get better every day in every way. Maybe one day I'll be able to come back and say, this is who I am, ta-da. But I don't feel confident enough to just say right now, this is who I am.
Yeah, I understand. I just love you so much. And Brother Sultan, you too. Thank you both. We need to let our sister take leave. Everyone support sajdahhouse.com. Brother Sultan, your closing remark for her. She has to go.
Yes. Well, you know, Sister Charlene, when you told me, I said, oh, don't worry, I'll be there. And I think by God's permission, I was able to do one of the things that I wanted to do. And that was, I thought that she would be able to help us become more successful. And I pray that not only will she help us to become more successful, and we will if we help also in this project, because this is something that we have to do. And as I said before, you know, we're going to brag about it. You're going to boast about it like we right there. I was there through the whole thing. You know what I mean? And so
At a hammer.
let's put something together that we can really boast about.
Thank you, Brother Sultan. Thank you, Sister Sajdah. And we're going to get it. Come on, right, Liberated Sisters audience? We're going to help, and we're going to do our part. May Allah continue to bless you both, sister, and have a great broadcast tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope this was helpful to you all, and that everybody got something out of it. My biggest goal is to be an asset, and
Mm.
I don't ever want to be a liability. So even in me asking for the final funds, it's a challenge for me because I never want to be a liability. So I always
You
try
should.
give more than what I can, than what
Mm.
I received. So inshallah, you will receive more in exchange for whatever it is that you give to the cause.
Thank you, sister. Words of
Yes.
wisdom. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wow, that's it for the show, everyone. I'm full. All praises due to Allah. Look at the coin that our beloved sister has for us. We want to keep Sister Sajdah Wendy Muhammad, her mother, her family, her team, her loved ones in prayer, because the audacity, right? Just the boldness, the fearlessness, but the love, more importantly, the LOVE that she has. And she took the step to go forward and to purchase this property. And I think about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And when I think about her in terms of this level, she refused, like he refused to let the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's name be trampled on and smashed and thrown in the dirt. And he and his family and his team and those that were with him in the early day, and our beloved brother, his son, Brother Joshua Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with him. Minister Farrakhan refused and had the help and the push and the support of Brother Minister Jabril Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with him, refused to let that man's name die. And so we're all here. And Sister Sajdah bought the property. And so we all do benefit just already. And as Brother Sultan said, we're going to do what we do, but we're going to benefit. We already benefit. And so what is a coin purchase of $500? I know people may be saying, oh, we have rent. I joked about it. Some people can't put rent together in 9 days. This sister put what she needed to put. She liquidated her assets to be able to do this. And so to whom much is given, much is required. I purchased a coin. I wanted to purchase more. There was a supporting family who I was able to live vicariously through them. They purchased 10 coins. And so I'm saying to us, let us do what we can. Get your coin. Let us go down in history or up in history saying that we too lifted a brick. We can do that. We can take that brick. So support SajdahHouse.com. Thank you so much to her for being our guest today. She does so much for us, and she took time out to come and talk to us because Liberated Sisters wants to show support along with our liberated brother, Brother Sultan. And thank you, Brother Sultan Muhammad, and thank you to your family for supporting this endeavor again. So I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad. That's our show for today. And remember, support SajdahHouse.com. Go and learn about it. Get your coin today and let us be a part of those who have helped in this effort and to also go down in history. Assalamu alaikum.